So what are some job opportunities working with Business Central? That is one of the goals of ERP Center of Excellence is to provide training, job skills, and experience with Business Central to help you get a job doing Business Central consulting. So our focus is on what we would call ERP consulting. So to help you become a consultant working for a Microsoft Dynamics partner. Now, there are other roles where knowing Business Central and being able to use Business Central could be valuable, like working for a company that uses Business Central, but our specific focus is to train people to become Business Central consultants because there is a high demand for Business Central consultants to help implement, to help sell, to help support, and to help customize Business Central. So what are some of those roles? First, there is what we would call an application consultant or a functional consultant. And that is someone who works with a customer, understands their business, figures out which options, which features, which modules to use within the software, discusses how to configure Business Central, how to use Business Central, trains users and companies on how to use and maintain the software. That is much of the role of the application or functional consultant for Business Central ERP consulting. There's also application support and help desk. So there's a big need for that. If a partner has 50 or 100 Business Central customers, then they may get phone calls asking questions. How do I enter this? What does this message mean? Why isn't this working properly? My login isn't working anymore. How do I reset my password? All of those things might come in via email, support tickets, phone calls. And partners need help answering those calls, answering those emails, and assisting customers on those support tickets. So there's a big need for that role as well. Business analyst. This one is probably not as widely known, but there's often a need for specific types of data analysis and reporting from Business Central. Businesses may generate thousands of transactions a month, and they need to sift through that data to understand, is my business doing well? Is my business declining? Do I need to order more inventory? Am I overstocked on inventory? And a business analyst who can use powerful reporting tools can help customers ask the right questions and answer those questions by finding the data that's relevant for that business. And last, there's a Business Central developer. If a customer loves Business Central but needs some additional fields on a page, or there's some function that they want to have work differently, or they want to automate a few steps in their process, they can have a Business Central developer write some custom code, create a custom application to help Business Central fit their business better and allow them to operate more efficiently and effectively. So there's a significant role for Business Central developers to help with customization and application development. So what are some benefits of Business Central? Well, as a SaaS web application that's hosted by Microsoft, it's globally accessible. So no matter where you live, no matter where you work, and no matter where the customers are, they can all access Business Central in the same way via web browser, no matter where you are in the world. Huge benefit versus software that is installed on servers that are maintained by the customer where remote access can be a challenge. Obviously, it's remote worker friendly. Whether I'm in Los Angeles right now accessing Business Central from a web browser on my desktop, or whether I'm in El Zonte at the beach accessing Business Central from my laptop, it doesn't matter. It's universally globally accessible via web browser, just like many other applications and websites. So that's a really powerful aspect of it. It is multi-language. And so as you see from this map, it's available all over the world. So whether you're in the United States, France, Italy, we have Japan, we have South Korea, Singapore, Thailand, Australia, India, South Africa, you name it. There are regions, there are countries that are supported, and there are different languages that are supported. So very global friendly. It's economically priced, and I'll discuss some of the pricing later on, but relative to the very expensive investment that it was traditionally required for on-premises ERP installations and configurations, the subscription pricing model of Business Central is very economically priced relative to historical ERP pricing. It's extremely feature-rich and powerful. Hundreds of features, dozens of modules. It doesn't do everything, but it does a lot. And if there's something you don't need, there are third-party add-ons and customizations available. Business Central integrates very well with other Microsoft products that I'll mention later. So whether it's Office or Teams or SharePoint or OneDrive, all of the Microsoft products create an ecosystem that Business Central can operate with, helping you take advantage of other Microsoft services and applications you may already be using. Business Central is highly extensible and customizable. I mentioned development role. Well, Business Central has a programming language and very modern programming tools and technologies and utilities that make it very easy to extend and customize the application. And in terms of job opportunities, Business Central is used by tens of thousands of businesses throughout the world. So United States, North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, thousands of businesses use it. And it's a very commonly used ERP application now from Microsoft. So it represents a good opportunity for future employment over the next several years. And it is one of the fastest growing ERP systems. It's one of the fastest growing Dynamics products within the Microsoft family. But relative to other ERP systems in the marketplace, it is also one of the fastest growing products being used today. So all very good news for training, job opportunities, and future career opportunities. So the licensing. How is it licensed? How is it priced? Business Central is sold as a subscription, and the pricing is shown as a monthly price per user, although it is typically sold now as an annual subscription per user. But just to make it easier to understand the pricing, it is shown as a per user per month price here, which is $70 US dollars for the United States. And that's for the Essentials version that will be used by most companies. There is also a premium version that includes 2 additional modules, manufacturing and field service. But most customers are able to use the Essentials version for $70 per user per month, which is a very economical price for an ERP application of this complexity. In other countries, the price is roughly equivalent in the local currency. Sometimes it'll be a little higher than 70 equivalent. Sometimes it'll be a little lower. This is the pricing for Mexico in Mexican pesos. So 1,477 pesos is roughly $80, I believe, at current exchange rate. But it will vary by country and by region and currency, so you'll just need to check pricing. But in general, it's around $70 per user per month, and that is an annual or monthly subscription that you pay as you use it. So relatively economical compared to the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars that was required to purchase the software previously. Business Central modules. This is just kind of a high-level grouping of certain features of the software, and we often refer to these as modules. You won't necessarily know that you're changing modules within the application, but you'll see a menu at the top. So we kind of refer to these as modules to discuss how the functionality is grouped. So for instance, finance, and that would be financial transactions, general ledger entries or general journals, financial reporting. We might have cash management functionality, such as bank reconciliations and cash receipts, lockbox, things like that. Then there's banking. So that's an integration with your bank to download bank statements and help perform the bank reconciliation. Sales, we showed a brief example of customers. And then there's quotes, orders, and invoices that allow you to receive orders from customers and bill them for the services or goods provided. Then there's purchasing. and that involves vendors, where you purchase things like office supplies, rent, equipment, services, and so then you pay those vendors for those goods and services through purchasing. If you purchase goods from a vendor and it comes in your office or your company, you might have inventory. So maybe you have an inventory warehouse where you have pallets of goods that you then sell to customers. Well, part of that is your warehouse. So you have warehousing functionality to help you manage where those pallets of inventory are in your warehouse, how much inventory you have, how to reorder, how to do stock counts, serialization. All of those things could fall under warehousing. And I mentioned manufacturing as part of the premium version of Business Central. And so if you do manufacturing, discrete process, different manufacturing methods, that could fall under the manufacturing module. Projects or jobs. If you do service projects or project accounting, construction, you might use the projects or jobs functionality. And if you're depreciating assets such as machinery or equipment or a truck fleet, you might use fixed assets to help with that tracking and depreciation. And service management is the second premium module along with manufacturing. So if you're performing service maintenance and you have services that you provide to customers through field service, that would fall under service management. And then human resources to track and manage employees. And lastly, not necessarily a module, but it's a significant feature of the application called workflow. So that allows you to submit records to Business Central and have them flow through a review and approval process, such as creating a new vendor is then reviewed by a supervisor and is then finally approved, and only then can that vendor be used in the system. And lastly, Business Central has an out-of-the-box integration with Shopify, which is an e-commerce platform. So if your company or if a customer's company has e-commerce and uses Shopify, the Shopify integration can connect Business Central with Shopify in order to sync customers, inventory items, inventory levels, and receive orders from Shopify into Business Central so that you can fulfill and ship those orders. So this is just a high-level glimpse of the functionality of Business Central described through what we might call modules. I mentioned that Business Central is globally available, available in many countries and many languages. And so in addition to saying that a Business Central is available in a given country, we often say that there are certain localizations for Business Central. And that includes not just the region, but it could be the country and say their regulations, their reporting, their tax requirements, their business process requirements that are unique to that country. That is often referred to as a localization. So Business Central is currently available in 156 countries, so that's quite a few. Now, 24 of those countries are directly supported by Microsoft, such as the United States and Canada and the UK and many of the EU countries. But there are some other countries where local partners have done the work to translate Business Central in the local language and also provide support for certain government or federal requirements for reporting, taxation, or unique regulatory requirements for that specific country. So here's an example of the web page that shows the supported countries and languages for Business Central. And you'll notice that two of those, Australia and Austria, are highlighted as being localized by Microsoft. So Microsoft did any translation and compliance and reporting work to be supported in those countries, whereas the other countries listed, you'll see partner. So in Argentina, a partner has done all the work to translate and localize Business Central to work properly in Argentina. So that could be the Spanish language translation, as well as tax and compliance, reporting and forms, regulatory requirements, VAT requirements, things like that. Those are handled by a Latin American or South American partner who handles many countries in the region and helps with that localization effort.